Assalamualaikum and a very good day. Welcome to our forum. I'm Maria Muhammad and I'll be moderating our discussion today about does violent game cause such behavior problems? We have 6 panels today starting from Madam Ardini, Sir Aisar, Miss Zahira, Miss Africa, Miss Akila and Miss Natasha. First of all, I would like to invite the panelists to give their opinion about the topic.
Allow me to begin with my point of view based on the articles that I have studied regarding our topic. The studies has mentioned that video games have significant correlations on students with grade point average towards academic life. According to the author, there are studies shown how high usage video game which causing students play late hours and in turn cause them to lose sleep. As general, losing some sleep have caused the student to lose focus during class and fail in joining class session. I have agreed that video game cause such behavior problems. Firstly, because grade points are based on the time management skills. Those who spend on video games are likely to have lower GPA grades as they fail to manage their time for study, which lead to trouble allotting enough time towards academic and studying. Second is because students will shirk their responsibilities of studying for exams and other coursework. This means that academic success of a college students must determine their academic adjustments and study habits. Next is video games can cause problematic consequences as the increase of time spent on the leisure time will make the quality of work will be less valuable and less effective. This is because there is no effective time management. There are many problems occur when students are likely to spend their time on video games while there are many other activities that can be done by the students that can bring benefit towards them, such as exercising. So studies found that students tend to play video games to release their stress are likely to have lower GPA grades. These can be proven by the articles that I have studied of the negative impacts of video games, which shows high percentage of lower grades when they are high in video games users.
Thank you, Panel 1, for your brilliant point of view. In my opinion, as a disciplinary teacher, I totally agree that violent games can cause many behavioral problems, especially among teenagers. Aggression is one of the serious behavior problems caused by the violent games played by them. Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, also known as GTA, and FIFA are the most popular games that contains violence. According to an article published by the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, a physical or non-physical act intended to hurt or injure another living being who is driven to avoid such treatment is also known as aggression. Based on the definition just now, we can see that violent games have made a teenager's aggressive attitude increase based on the violent characters they see and they are badly influenced to act so in their real life. This promotes the occurrence of disciplinary issues like bullying, physically harming others, damaging their property or relationship, verbally abusing others, and vandalizing school property. If their aggressive attitude is not curbed immediately, then it will affect their future and maybe they will become more addicted to playing violent games because they are having too much fun with the life they are going through.
Thank you so much, Panel 2. There can be no doubt that video games lead to a variety of negative impacts. Allow me to add one more point. My honest opinion would be that video games also can cause poor social skills and interaction. As everyone knows, the socialization process is an important aspect of human development. Social development ensures that any relationships with individuals are safe and healthy. Addiction to video games may affect the quality and also the quantity of social skills. Gamers are introverts and lack of social interaction. In other words, the higher the addiction to video games, the less the social skills. The individuals addicted to the video games have fewer social skills. Gamers prefer spending time in a game environment instead of socializing themselves in the real environment, which can be labeled as antisocial or introvert. They socialize themselves with other players in the game environment and spend a lot of time on that game's platform that can cause them to neglect and avoid from interacting with those people around them. This situation will make it difficult for them to communicate with anyone in a public space or in a public area. They realize how difficult it is to get along with the people around them, despite the fact that it is one of life necessities. Some gamers may experience rejection in the real world, so they seek social connection in a safer environment, and they would have difficulty forming relationship in the real world because they may find that relationship in online environments much safer. Social interaction is a skill, and if you spend most of your time alone in your room playing with video games and not interacting with other people in real life, you will lose that skill. This can result in social anxiety and also worsening the situation.
I understand where you are coming from, doctor. I'm so sorry, but I disagree with you about this. From my own perspective, I believe that playing game does not cause such behavior problems. It is because in entrepreneurship and life in general, the ones who succeed are generally those who persevere. As a businesswoman, playing games makes me learn that all it takes to overcome an obstacle is a little perseverance. It also makes me learn to see the path forward. The interesting thing about video games is that even though you may fail repeatedly, the game teaches you to use a mindset geared towards progress. Every game gets harder as you go. The bosses get tougher, the puzzles get trickier, and the obstacles get bigger. But the more you achieve, the more you know how to make it even further. In addition, the truth is, however, the benefits of video games stretch far beyond helping you decompress. Recent research in the journal Royal Society Open Science shows that gameplay is positively correlated with well-being and can have a positive impact on mental health. This can therefore make you better at your job, just as importantly, video games teach actual skills that are extremely valuable in building and running a business. Learning how to fail and how to build expertise through consistent effort are two fundamental components of video gameplay that all entrepreneurs need to learn in order to succeed. Other than that, research and empirical studies by cross-cultural management shows that a comparison between video game players and their less playing counterparts reveal that players are more inclined towards entrepreneurial behavior. Students who have a more positive attitude towards playing video games also shows a higher entrepreneurial intent. The results obtained show that playing video games has the propensity to strengthen students' capacity to acquire most of the psychological and cognitive process associated with entrepreneurship. It is reasonable that although playing video games encourages the development of particular skills and entrepreneurial traits, some might develop more specific skills than others. Moreover, there is a common misconception that video games are counterproductive. People often think of them as a massive waste of time, whereby people think that playing game is something done solely for the purpose of having fun with no inherent value or deeper meaning. On the contrary, playing games actually is a dedicating time to relaxation and enjoyment that makes you more productive in the long run, and focusing all of your energy on work can lead to burnout. So, playing games can help everyone from being burnt out because of the long run packs of work. With this statement, I still stand with my disagreement that playing violent games causes such behavior problems. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Asha. And for my point, I disagree with the idea that violent games cause behavior problems. From my opinion as a gamer, whether video game is violent or not, playing with others is likely to encourage certain prosocial behavior. So even if their main objective is to murder the visual characters of other players, the cooperative and prosocial behaviors that players learn and practice in roleplay may nevertheless have an influence on later social behavior. So video games have a powerful need satisfaction component that makes them very engrossing, inspiring, and fun. They include satisfying self-experiences that may promote social development and the attainment of social potential. The research also revealed that playing video games can help kids build stronger social bonds and become more prosocial. And this is known as the social paradox of video games. Other than that, the game can be created to fulfill people's want in the near future, depending on the training's objective. Therefore, when handled properly, online game may have a good impact on users and serve as a creative outlet. In addition, it's possible that video games might be useful instruments for teaching failure resilience. The researchers contend that youngsters develop emotional resilience they may rely on in their daily life by learning to deal with repeated failures in games.
In my point of view, as a top student in school, I totally disagree that violence game can cause many behavior problems, such as bullying or decreased academic performance among teenagers. Based on the research published by the Journal of Adolescent Research, the results show that violent game brings advantage to teenagers by emotional regulation, especially coping with anger and stress issues. This is because they can use game as a channel anger and relieve stress to calm themselves from the problems they may have, such as family problem or getting bullied in school. Next, playing game with violent content is a way to express their fantasy of power and glory by imagining what they would do if they were suddenly blessed with the abilities same as their favorite game character. A few boys from the research conducted before say that if they had a power, they will help anyone that can defend themselves and be stronger so the others won't mess with them again. Furthermore, in violent games, we can develop problem-solving skill by playing strategic games such as Counter-Strike, which may strengthen a range of cognitive skills such as navigation, reasoning, memory, and perception. Research conducted in 2013, meta-analysis found that playing shooting game improve a player capacity of focus to aim the subject. To be honest, as a student, there are a lot of new skills that we can learn by playing games such as reading the map and standing for yourself in any situation. Lastly, games can be a social tool to everyone to teach us about teamwork, such as Call of Duty game that allow us to communicate with other people around the world to plan the strategy to attack others' team. This is also teach about leadership in grouping that can be applied in school activities such as presentation.
I have agreed with Tasha that video games have powerful need satisfaction and it can be played in part to reduce stress. But it is not supposed to encourage others to play video games to release their stress. However, I stick with my own opinion that video games will cause such behavior problems. The students who play video games will shirk their responsibilities in studying and academic life. Therefore, high video games usage will have a negative impact on grades, especially to the young generations. So in my point of view, there are many other things that students can do in their leisure time, such as exercising or hanging out with their friends. This is because high video games usage has shown negative impacts to the student. Next is, it is also triggers a higher level of aggressions, which ultimately will link to problems in school and decrease academic performance. This shown of the time spent playing game was a negative predictor of academic performance, and that those who played video games more often had improved grades than those who played less video games.
I'm sorry, but I would like to counter back Dini's point. So video games might be useful instruments for teaching failure resilience, like I said earlier. The researchers contend that youngsters develop emotional resilience they may rely on in their life by learning to deal with repeated failures in games. Playing games can also become one of the way they cope. By playing some games that can enhance their way of thinking, they can release more stress and gain more knowledge on how to think creatively. Playing online games primarily serve as a social and leisure activity. Instead of playing creative games, individuals, especially young people, prefer to play shooting and violent ones. Games can improve their cognitive abilities, their problem-solving skills, and logic. Also increase the hand-to-eye coordination, greater multitasking ability, faster and more accurate decision-making, and enhance prosocial behaviors. To better connect kids, encourage prosocial behavior and self-esteem, highlight character strengths, and encourage their healthy and positive development, parents, educators, researchers, and general public should learn more about today's video game, comprehend them, explore the risks and opportunities they present for kids, and utilize them. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt Ms. Zahira, but I would like to add here that socialization is the process of forming an individual's norms, skills, motivations, attitudes, and behavior. So, the individuals recognize his or her current or future role in the desired society. The main components of social development, particularly among children and adolescents, is the deployment of social skills and ways of communication and interacting with others. So, when you spend too much time playing with video games, you may lose sight of your social skills. Developing social skills is one of the most important things you can do in your life. But when you spend the majority of your day staring at your screen, you have few chances to hone that skill. This can lead to a decline in social skills, resulting in a lower quality of life. We all require social skills, whether it is to find work, maintain a relationship, or making new friends. Reliance on online social interaction reduces offline contact and limits offline friendship and interaction. As gamers become more connected to their video games context and their online social capital grows, offline activities are displaced and online game play becomes more appealing.
Sorry to interrupt. I would like to add my own point, as video games have an ever-increasing penetration level across the globe, leading to more immersive and engaging entertainment than ever before. The effects of gaming on multiple aspects of life are of utmost importance and consequences. Therefore, the implications of the present study's result are relevant. Knowing that game players tend to have lower GPAs than non-players, parents should take part by ban the game used to the kids as taking measure to ensure that video games cannot stand in the way of educational achievement.
I partially disagree with Akila's point that she mentioned coping with anger and stress. I still want to defend my opinion that playing violent games can increase teenagers' aggression. The research findings support the hypothesis that playing violent video games increases the likelihood of acting aggressively. The effects are both immediate and long term. Based on a study conducted by developmental psychology, the most aggressive participants were those who play a violent game and wish to be like the violent character in that game. When they are too much in character, their aggressive attitude increases and they start to change their own character into a character in the game. When a person's level of aggressiveness exceeds the limit, out of control action can be occur and may involve the other party. For example, in Tennessee, William Buckner, 16, and his stepbrother Joshua, 14, shot at cars in 2003, killing a man and badly injuring a woman. The lads insisted that they were portraying characters from GTA 3. Also, in 2003, an 18 years old Alabama man named Devin Moore was arrested for carjacking and later shot and killed 3 police officers. He reportedly informed police after his second arrest. Life is like a video game. Everyone must eventually pass away. Once more, the murderer admitted to the police that he was imitating the behavior he had picked up from playing GTA 3. We do want to imply that playing violent video games alone contributed to these crimes. To maintain the family reputations, we must steer clear of situations like this. Imagine if this situation were happening in the school grounds, the school would not hesitate to impose disciplinary punishment on students who commit violence and can be convicted of a police case. It can be seen that violent games should not be exposed to teenagers because they are still in the phase of trying something new that may lead to occurrence of criminal cases.
I totally disagree with Sir Isa and stand with my opinion that games such as Grand Theft may increase teenagers' aggression, but as teenagers we know how to differentiate between what we can do and what we cannot do in real life and virtual life. Moreover, teenagers play games to manage their mood, including relieve stress after tired study and adding pleasurable excitement in their life by doing things we cannot do in real life, like in Grand Theft Auto game. This is because violent game may help students work through their frustration with real life and calm down without increasing aggressive behavior in real life. This type of play serves as an outlet for emotional expression or as a form of distraction. For example, when you get wrapped up in a violent game, you can take out your anger out on the people in the game by beating them up to promote relaxation and ward off anxiety.
Thank you to all panelists. There were such a variety points of view. So, we have come to the end of our discussion to conclude our forum today. There are pros and cons, impacts of violent games towards students. So it depends on how the society takes part in control student behavior when they play games for their attitudes and future. Thank you again for the panels and audience for your time today.